the 27th Sunday of Ordinary Time. The followers of Jesus in today's gospel make a very difficult request. Not for Jesus to respond, but for them to understand the implications. Lord, increase our faith. And do you want your faith increased? That's the question. And how does faith differ from understanding? Do we want clarity? Lord, increase in us an understanding. That's not what they're asking for. We believe, help our unbelief. Help us not be so troubled by having faith. Make faith easier. That's what they're really asking. And we do that too. What if we were to say that in order to increase in faith, we have to increase in doubts, challenges, questions, puzzlements? What if faith asks us to go more deeply into the dark of our humanity, not only of God's divinity? So Jesus said, well, if you really had faith, you could do these impossible things. We say, well, I don't have that faith. That's right. We are very timorous, very fearful. And what we want to do with fear is have some way of getting rid of our fear. And we don't want to say, Lord, increase our fear. But maybe, Lord, increase our awareness of the things, as it says in the first reading, of the violence around me, of the uncertainty, of the clamorous, of the political and military, and the violence of people killing each other. We would like to have answers for that. And yet it's all around us. So can we have a faith that Jesus is the vision? Habakkuk has God saying, be faithful to the vision. Write it down. And it is written down in the Gospels. Jesus is very aware of how frightened we are and how we do want certainty, facts, and we don't like things that puzzle us. It's a poverty we don't like, and maybe Jesus is saying, do you want to grow in faith? Can you become more and more familiar with your own personal poverty, your inabilities? Or is that such an insult to you that you say, faith is not worth it? I'll live with what I know, and that's no experience of poverty. It's power. And then we have this unusual gospel today. Basically, it's a very complicated gospel in some ways, but when I prayed with it and pondered it, it really comes down to, do we please God? Is God pleased with us? Is God pleased with what we do for Him or for each other or whatever? When I was a young Jesuit, I worked in the fields and was a janitor and all that. And we had last visit right before going to bed. We'd go individually to the chapel. And I used to pick on my calluses as if they were some kind of rosary beads. And I did this for you, and I did that for you. And as a reward, I had dinner, and I was going to a very small but comfortable room and bed. I was going to have a very nice pillow. Was I expecting reward? So the man comes in from, the servant comes in and he said, don't you expect that the master would say, sit down and have dinner with me? The servant is a servant. I expected to please God. And I was very pleasing to God because I did all the rules, I kept silence, I did what I was told, I lived the commandments, and I was very pleasing to God. And God says, good, and tomorrow I'm so pleased, I will give you 3 meals and a comfortable place, and you can go to bed again tomorrow night because you have pleased me. My theology has changed me. We don't please God and we don't displease God. God pleases God by being God and blessing us that we might be servants. But as servant, I serve with Jesus. And he is pleasing to his Father by being second person of the Trinity. He is God pleasing God. I please others, and maybe I please myself by being good, doing what's right, doing what's commanded. God says yes, but don't do it to please me. I love you not to please you, but to help you live with you as servant. I don't do what's commanded, as the servant did. I do, I hope to do, I want to do what is service to God's people. How God is working with me, through me, and I am working in Christ. Not to do what is commanded, not to do what is pleasing to God, but because it is the faithful thing to do. And I increase my faith. God receives my prayer for more faith, that I be faithful to being not the servant of God, but the servant to God's people. We celebrate at the Eucharist how Jesus is servant to us, serves us, blesses us, sends us, to increase our faith by how much God is faithful to his servants and his people through us. Quite a way to live.